Marijuana. The word probably makes you turn your nose up, maybe even leaves a bitter taste in your mouth. Makes you think of a group of kids sitting in a circle getting high. What if I told you that it is so much more than that? Would you believe me if I told you it had healing properties? Nova Lee is a 6-year-old little girl who now lives in Colorado due to the legalization of medical marijuana. Often referred to as Supernova by her family and large number of followers on social media, she suffers from epilepsy, where her mother said she often couldn't go 17 minutes without having grand mal seizures, with anywhere from 30 to 40 small seizures in between, once having 100 in a single day. By the time she was 3 years old, 9 pharmaceutical drugs had failed her. She took drugs like diazepam and Ativan, as well as medications that cause vision loss. Today, Nova Lee uses cannabis oil derived from cannabis indica plants. Nova consumes 30 milligrams of THC 3 times daily, double that if she is sick. As heartbreaking as this strong and sweet girl's story is, I'm delighted to share that Supernova is currently 73 days seizure-free. I am here to wholeheartedly tell you that I believe cannabis can. My purpose here today is to inform you of medical marijuana in the studies of cancer, epilepsy, and PTSD. Many studies have been conducted with fantastic results, proving the benefits of this little plant. Marijuana was discovered in 1964 by a scientist in Israel named Dr. Raphael McCollum. Miraculously enough, this plant shares chemicals that are similar to those in our own bodies. Despite what people think, THC has been proven to have many benefits and positive effects. THC is proven to protect brain cells and to even encourage new growth. Where most pharmaceuticals are considered neurotoxic, THC is considered a neuroprotectant. To alter a negative stigma of an all-natural medication, you must open your eyes to gain a new insight of the chemical-free drug that is changing people's lives, giving people with illness hope for a better tomorrow. To gain a better understanding of where the research began, let's take a look at the genius behind the profound studies. Are you ready? Dr. Raphael McCollum, also known as the father of cannabis, was born November 5th, 1930 in Sofia, Bulgaria, to a Sephardic Jewish family. His father was a physician as well as head of a local hospital, whilst his mother enjoyed a well-off Jewish lifestyle. He began studying chemical engineering, but decided he did not like it and switched to chemistry. This is where the study of cannabis became natural due to his passion for research and the sizable lack of research due on the plant. It was shocking to him that so little knowledge was known, yet drugs like morphine and cocaine components had been isolated for over 150 years. McCollum was the first ever to isolate tetrahydrocannabinol, commonly known by the acronym THC, which was responsible for emitting psychoactive effects. He didn't stop there, however. McCollum took it a step further and isolated the second most copious cannabinoid, cannabidiol, CBD. He was astonished by its medical impact and its antipsychotic and probable treatment of pain and seizures. Now that we have a little insight on where it all started, let's discuss the benefits of what this miraculous plant can do for those suffering from the extreme pain and appetite loss induced from a cruel illness such as cancer. Christine Sanchez was a young biologist studying at Complutense University in Madrid, where she studied cell metabolism. Brain cancer cells form at a faster rate than normal cancer cells, making them excellent for research. This is where she noticed something quite strange. Sanchez stumbled upon the anti-cancer properties of THC. Each time the cells met THC, they died. In 1998, she reported that THC induces apoptosis, cell death in C6 glioma cells, which is an aggressive form of brain cancer. Research also shows that cancer helps with the nausea and pain caused from cancer chemotherapy. The role cannabis plays in these treatments depends on the method and dose of treatment. Although brain cancer is a type of cancer, THC CBD helps, and there are many others as well. Other researchers have found that CBD kills breast cancer cells and destroys malignant tumors. The ID1 gene becomes active during the development in the embryonic stage, after which it turns off and stays off. Unfortunately, in breast cancer, as well as other forms of metastatic cancer, the genes become active, subsequently causing malignant cells to invade the breast tissue and metastasize. However, CBD could possibly be the breakthrough. The studies and breakthroughs are proving more and more why this option could be the key to better health and healing. These studies are giving hope of an easier life while going through tragedy. These studies are making waves in the advances of marijuana. If you still aren't convinced yet, let me give you some insight on the benefits of marijuana when you use for epilepsy and PTSD. In 3 medical marijuana states, Colorado, Maine, and Washington, studies are being conducted on the effects of cannabis oil and found that in a small and uncontrolled study of 282 patients, that some degree of seizure reduction was reported in 86% of the participants, while 10% experienced complete seizure remission. That is incredible. These properties work by working on different targets, which are calcium channels, glutamate receptor anti-antagonists, sodium ion channels in the GATA system, and receptor agonists in the brain. Anticonvulsants may affect the neurotransmitters responsible for sending messages or attracting themselves to the nerves. The authors of the study maintain that artisanal cannabis products should be considered for patients with refractory epilepsy to have a low-key hood of responding to FDA-approved anti-epileptic drugs. Moreover, a combination cannabinoid compounds, not just CBD, may be more effective for seizure reduction. This is done to alter the activity at the cell by switching how long fluid to it out of the neurons. Availability of a consistent supply of the medication is frequently disturbed due to horticulture manufacturing and economic factors. Current market prices for artisanal cannabis preparations observed in Maine, California, and online range from 5 to 50 cents per milligram. Higher dosing ranges are often financially unfeasible for many patients unless they grow and produce their own medication, a complex process that presents many potential interruptions and treatment. Sudden loss of access to cannabinoids may result in rebound seizures. Cannabis treatment for seizures is gaining large support from a growing roster of medical practitioners who are urging its legal access, including the Epilepsy Foundation in the United States. There are a few states that have legalized marijuana for medical purposes, while Canada has proposed that cannabis will be legal as early as July 1st, 2018. In Indianapolis, Indiana specifically, a bill has passed that the Senate would allow the use of CBD oil to treat people with severe epilepsy. As you can see, marijuana goes far beyond getting high. It heals. We began with learning about the birth for studies in medical marijuana and where it all started. The further of cannabis isolated THC as well as isolating CBD, leading the discoveries of its healing properties. Secondly, we learned of a young biologist who stumbled upon the anti-cancer properties of THC as well as the effects THC has on breast cancer. And thirdly, we learned of a little girl, now seizure-free, and how her CBD oil helps with her epilepsy, while being informed is living a very effective life due to medical marijuana. The stigma of negativity for marijuana has been around since it was discovered, strongly due to its uses in the 70s, but I'm here today hoping that the little information that I have shared with you lowered the guard and negative opinion one might hold. I'm standing here today to end with a plea that more people become informed. This drug goes past serious life-threatening illnesses. It helps those with anxiety, depression, and so much more. I'm here today praying that you will go home and research for yourself why cannabis can.